Hey guys, this is Patrick with MT Knives coming to you today with today's Expert Council segment of the week. Today's question comes from Michael from Minnesota. He says, what chainsaw considerations should I keep in mind when wanting to try chainsaw board milling? I need to upgrade my chainsaw and eventually try my hand at a chainsaw milling. Beaver has a chainsaw mill kit. Maybe it would be worth reviewing. Obviously, bigger is better, but all I want to do is cut dimensional lumber for projects, not necessarily finishing boards for cabinetry. I have a lot of ash trees to take down, 50 cc and higher, electric versus gas, and bar length. Thanks, Michael from Minnesota. My knowledge about chainsaw board milling is very limited. I've seen people do it. I actually purchased a wood miser, have used it some. Typically, my suggestion is buy the best tool that you can afford to buy, um, and buy the tool that is designed for that job. Chainsaws really weren't designed for milling lumber. However, I do see they'll do the job, and it can be done, right. Caveat is you're going to lose a lot of that lumber due to the kerf, the cut of the chainsaw, versus like a bandsaw mill. But when you're dealing with free lumber, it's free lumber, right? So you're going to lose more lumber, and then cost. I haven't priced chainsaw mills, but that's something to take into consideration. As far as the size, how many cc's, electric versus gas, and bar length. Obviously, if you're going to use this, it's going to depend on the size of tree you plan on milling down. My wood miser that I purchased is the smallest one, and I'm not sure what the cut capacity is on it, somewhere around 21, 22 inches. I just cut up a log that was over 30 inches in diameter, and I used my chainsaw to cut it down. Now, if you think about it, with the diameter, 21, 22 inches is the width of board I can cut. So even though it's a 30-inch diameter board, as long as I can come along and just take some of the top off, roll it, you can piece it down and make it work. I have mine just set up on some cinder blocks, and it would have been better to have it on a more permanent foundation. Putting a log that size on it was pretty questionable, and then moving it around. My skid steer will lift, it says 1,600 pound capacity. I know that I have lifted probably 1,800 pounds with it, because I bought a ton of feed for my cattle, and I had to bucket some out of it, but I was able to pick it up mostly full. So electric versus gas. I've got a Milwaukee chainsaw. I like it. It has got a smaller kerf, which is gonna is good, but it needs a smaller kerf because the electric doesn't quite have the power that the gas does. But the caveat of that is I've seen testing with electric chainsaws, they will cut right through chaps that are supposed to protect you from a gas chainsaw. Those chaps will bind up the motor and choke out a gas chainsaw, but with the electric, it just eats right through those chaps. So there's an added danger, I guess, in using electric. They're not going to stop if you got like chaps on or something like that. And then bar length, like I said, it's going to depend on the size tree that you're cutting. I think mine is I don't know, 18-inch bar, 20-inch bar, and it always seems, there's times where it's nice to have a larger bar. But then too, if you're, it just depends on what you're doing. So, I don't know how helpful this has been. This is just my experience. I don't have very much experience with chainsaw milling. I did spend the money on a mill that was designed for cutting down logs, and even with that, it has its limitations, right? It's easy to buy more tool than you need. I like to buy more tool than I need a lot of times. So, Michael, thank you for the question. I look forward to seeing what you end up doing, whether, what size chainsaw you get, whether you get gas or electric. Be sure to let me know. Send me some pictures of your projects. I know that my Wood-Mizer sat there. Took me a while to get it put together. Once I did get it put together, it took me a while to actually take the time to cut up some wood. I'm excited to use some of this wood for my property to build some projects and put it to use. It's pretty neat being able to take trees from your own property and cut them up and make them into something useful. My sons have carved spoons and all sorts of things from some of the wood that we've harvested from our property. I've cut up some cedar. I'm saving it for some projects I have in mind. I just cut up some pecan. Today, actually, I just bought some furring strips to space out and stack my lumber so that they can dry properly. So, but it's been a lot of fun. I wish I had more time to play with it, and Wood-Mizer chainsaw mill. Another I would look into is I think Woodland Mills makes a pretty nice mill. If I had it to do over again, I might have gone with that over Wood-Mizer. My Wood-Mizer took longer than it was supposed to get here. When it got here, there was some damage to the pallet. My experience with Wood-Mizer was not the best, but they are a company that's been around for a long time. They make a good product, so I wanted to go with one that was well known, and that's why I chose Wood-Mizer. Thank you for your questions. If you have a question for me, send it to me, patrick@mtknives.net, and I'd be more than happy to share what knowledge I have and just let you know my take on it. This has been Patrick Rorman with MT Knives. Have a great day.